Hi guys. So today's flow is absolutely perfect lower body stretch. So if you've gone back to the gym this week or if you've been running a lot or cycling a lot, then this is just a really good way of opening up the hips, getting into the hamstrings, and hopefully leave you feeling a little less tight and tense. So you don't need any props at all. If you want blocks or pillows or cushions, then feel free. And we will begin in a reclined position today. So really think about breathing into those hips and hamstrings and any areas of tightness and tension. So we're just going to come down onto the back. Just take the knees a little bit wider than hip width. Just let the knees knock in. Take one hand to the chest and one hand to the belly. Feet flat on the floor and just closing the eyes off here. Start by just taking a quick scan of the body, just checking in with everything. Noticing anything going on around you, any noises. And then just shutting them out, just coming inside. So leaving the outside out there, coming inside and coming to the breath. So feeling the hands rise and fall as you take those breaths. Knowing at any point during the practice you can come back to this breath. If a pose becomes too challenging or too much or doesn't resonate with you, then just coming back to this breath, to this point. So taking one more breath here. And then just heel turn the feet to hip width. We're going to take the left foot down, straight out, flex the left toes up towards the ceiling. You're going to pick the right knee up and bring it into the body. So just giving it a hug, keeping that left leg active still. So feeling a nice stretch in the inner hip. If you want to deepen this stretch, then just pressing the right heel away, drawing the right toes in towards you. That's going to really deepen that stretch in the hip, maybe switching the hamstring on as well. Trying to keep both shoulders on the floor. So as you're squeezing this knee in towards the chest, trying to keep the chest nice and open still. So we don't want to be hunched up here, still nice and relaxed. Softness in the jaw. And then from here, we're just going to start to lift this leg. We're going to come into a half happy baby. So we're going to bring the right hand to the outside of the right foot and just start to guide the right knee down towards the right armpit, towards the floor. Place the left hand on the left hip. So just being careful this left hip doesn't lift. So left hip and left shoulder are on the floor. Left toes are still flexed, so we're still nice and active in the left hand side. And then breathing into that hip. So maybe you can feel some pinching or some tension. If there's any pain, then just easing out of the pose. If not, then just coming back to the breath and really breathing into this hip. And then release. We're going to come into our reclined pigeon. So bending into the left knee. Right foot, right ankle comes over, left knee. Keeping this right toe, toes pointed up. Press the right knee away with the right hand. If that's enough, then staying there. Or just reaching behind the left knee, bringing it in towards the chest. Maybe stretching the left leg out, circling the ankle, pointing and flexing the toe, feeling anything release from there, any pops, any clinks and clunks. My ankle is having a field day here, clicking. And releasing, so switching over this time. So right leg comes out, right toes to ceiling. Guide the left knee into the chest. If you want to deepen, pressing the left heel away, left toes. Still keeping this
Toes nice and active on the right leg. So not just flopping that right leg out. Toes are active. Keeping both shoulders down on the floor. Breathing into the hip. And then taking the left hand to the outside of the left foot, coming to that half happy baby. So taking the right hand to the right hip, guiding the left knee down towards the left armpit. So really feeling the stretch in this area here. Again, keeping the right shoulder down. Take one more breath here. And then bending into the right knee. Left foot, left ankle crosses on the right knee. Pressing the left knee away. Again, keeping this left foot active. Maybe reaching behind. Maybe stretching into this right leg. Circling the ankle, pointing and flexing the toes. Again, whatever feels good here. Really getting into that left hip, that glute, that hamstring. And then release. Bring the knees into the chest, just gently rocking from side to start. So really pressing the lower back down into the mat. And then coming backwards and forwards. Seeing if you can rock up into a seated position, then making your way over into your tabletop. So shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Taking the hands about shoulder width apart, spread the fingers nice and wide. Take the gaze down between the hands, just taking a few rounds of cat and cow. So really mobilizing into the lower back. So take an inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone. As you exhale, press into the hands round, so tilting the pelvis under. Take 2 more rounds. So inhale, lift. As you exhale, round, navel to spine. Taking the gaze between the knees, really open out the shoulders. Take an inhale, drop the belly, lift the tailbone and the chin. Last time here, exhale, round. Coming back to center, taking some nice circles, some figure of eights with the hips. So we're going to take the hips back towards the right heel, over towards the left heel, and then bring it forward. So imagine that you're tracing a figure of 8 with the hips. So coming forward onto the wrists as well, if that feels good. Again, maybe pausing at any point if it feels good. And then taking it back the other way. Again, really just exploring your body, how it feels good. Maybe hanging out at the back if that feels good. But just staying a little bit further forwards. Just exploring that. And then coming back into your tabletop. So coming back to neutral. I'm going to step the right foot forward, coming into a low lunge on the right hand side. So right knee over right ankle. Making any alterations to your back leg. So bringing it in if this is a bit much. Or letting it slide out. Just try not to let this right knee overshoot the right foot. So taking into a low lunge. Reach the hands up, relax the shoulders. Keep the tailbone tucked under, so protecting the lower back. Come back to the breath. I'm going to come back into our half split. So take an inhale. Take an exhale, float the hands down, start to straighten into the right leg, start to creep those hands back, flexing the right toes, so trying to keep the hips nice and square, keep the chest lifted, so try not to round here. If this is too much, bring the hands up onto the hips. If you need to slightly soften into the knee because the hamstrings are really tight, then keep that knee just a tiny bit bent. Remember, don't force and don't push anything that your body doesn't want to do. And just gently moving between the 2 moves with your breath. So we take an inhale, bend into the right knee, float the hands up. We take an exhale, straighten into the right leg, half split. 2 more times. Inhale, float the hands up. Exhale, half split. Last time. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, half split. Gently bend into the right knee, come back into your tabletop reset here, and then the same on the left hand side. So step the left foot forward, coming into your low lunge, so just setting up here. Again, making any alterations to your right knee. When you're ready, take an inhale, float the hands up, relax the shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades sliding down the back. Ground into the left foot, so spread the left toes nice and wide, really making a nice solid base. Relax the jaw. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, we're going to make our way back into our half split. So take an inhale. As you exhale, frame the foot gently. Walk the hands back, flex the left toes. Feel that stretch in the hamstring. Remember, you can soften the knee if you need to. You can come up to here if you need to, if it's too much to take the hands to the floor. This is where, if you did have some blocks or some props, you could take them under the hands just to add that little bit of length. Okay, so moving between the two. Take an inhale, low lunge. Take an exhale, half split. Do two more here. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, half split. One more round. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, half split. Coming back into your tabletop, making your way into your first downward facing dog. So tuck the toes, send the seat back, lengthen through the spine. So keeping the knees nice and soft to start with, pedaling the feet. So taking one heel down and then the other, maybe twisting into the hips if that feels good. Remember, listening to your body, so starting to really tune into what your body needs. Maybe it does need that stillness, or maybe it does want that movement today. Seeing if you can take the gaze between the ankles or the knees. Coming back to the breath and really lengthen through the spine, taking the hips nice and high, spread the fingers nice and wide, and then finding that stillness. So feet settle about hip width. Take 2 breaths here. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. And exhale. Soften into the knees. Slowly walk the hands back towards the feet. When you get there, take hold of either elbow and find your ragdoll. So softening the knees as much as you need to take the chest down towards the thighs. And then maybe rocking from side to side. Tilting forwards and backwards between the heels and the toes. The more weight you put forward into your toes, the more length into the hamstrings. Let that upper body completely hang heavy. Release the back. And then from here, just taking the left hand down underneath the face. You're going to take an inhale, float the right hand up, coming into a twisted fold. So imagine there's one line of energy from the right hand all the way down to the left hand. Really grounding. And then switching out. So right hand comes down, left hand floats up. And release. Walking forwards, taking the hands into your downward facing dog. Take an inhale. Take an exhale. On an inhale, step right foot forward, coming down, finding your low lunge. Sweep the hands up. Relax the shoulders. Take a breath, inhale. As you exhale, bring the hands down towards heart center. Take a twist. So we're taking the left elbow to the tip of the right knee. Pressing the right hand down into the left. So coming into a twisted low lunge here. Imagine that you're trying to get the hands into heart center. So keep looking up over the right shoulder if you can. Take a breath, inhale. Exhale back to center. Frame the right foot, tuck the toes on the left foot. Lift the left knee, step back, high plank. Take a breath, inhale. Take an exhale, knees, chest, chin, float all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Take an exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath, inhale. Exhale. Step the right foot forward, finding your low lunge. Inhale the hands up. Exhale, hands to heart center, taking that twist. Inhale here. Exhale. Coming back to center, framing the foot. We're going to make our way into our high lunge this time. So I took the toes on the left foot, lift the left knee. Prepare for the high lunge. So coming up onto the fingertips. Take an inhale, lift the chest. Bend the left knee as much as you need to, keeping this tailbone tucked under. So if you can, straighten out that back leg. If not, then just keep that nice bend. Take an inhale here. Take an exhale, hands to heart center, finding that twist again. So taking the elbow to the tip of the knee, pressing into the top hand. Take an inhale. Take an exhale, come back to center, frame the right foot, step back, high plank. Inhale. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, lower all the way down. Take an inhale, up dog or cobra. Take an exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Take a breath, inhale. Exhale. Step the right foot forward, we're adding on again. So sweep the hands up, high lunge. Exhale, hands to heart, take that twist into a low lunge. Inhale. Exhale, back to center, making your way up into high lunge this time. So preparing, framing the foot, lift the back knee, lift the chest on an inhale. As you exhale, hands to heart, taking that twist, looking up over the right shoulder. Take an inhale. As you exhale, come back to center, drop onto the left heel and finding your warrior two. So bending into this right knee, make any alterations that you need to with the feet. Open out the hips, take an inhale. Exhale, side angle, forearm to thigh, reach up and over with the left hand. So really lengthening through the left hand side of the body, pressing the outside of the left foot down into the floor. So really feeling a lengthening here. Take an inhale. As you exhale, frame the right foot. Step back, take a full vinyasa or take it down onto the knees. If you're with me, come forward onto the tiptoes, lower chest and chin down, chaturanga. Take an inhale, up dog or cobra. Take an exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath, inhale. Exhale. Take an inhale, float the right leg up, coming into three-legged dog, bending at the knee. So really opening out the right hip, stacking right hip on top of left. So really grounding down into the hands. Take a breath, inhale. Exhale, squaring the hips off, coming back into downward facing dog, coming down onto the knees, finding child's pose. So just resting here, coming back to the breath. So breathing into your child's pose. Just bringing the heart rate back down, bringing the attention back to the breath. Take 2 more breaths, and then when you're ready, come up to meet me in downward facing dog. From here, take an inhale. Exhale. And an inhale, step the left foot forward, coming down onto our low lunge. Sweep the hands up, relax the shoulders. Left knee over left ankle. Inhale. Take an exhale, hands to heart, taking the twist. So right elbow to the tip of the left knee, pressing into the left hand. So really taking that lovely twist through the torso. Take an inhale. Exhale, coming back to center. Frame the left foot. High plank, knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Take an inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. We add on again. Take an inhale, step forward, low lunge. So left foot comes forward, reach the hands up, inhale.
Exhale, hands through heart, taking that twist. Inhale. Exhale, back to center. So we're coming into our high lunge this time. So framing that left foot, lift the right knee. Prepare. Take an inhale, lift the chest. Remember, bending that back knee if you need to. If not, then straightening into the back knee. Stacking left knee over right, being careful on this lower back. Tuck the pelvis. Take an inhale. Exhale, hands to heart, taking our twist. So pressing the left hand into the right, twisting through the torso. Take an inhale. Exhale, framing the left foot, step back, high plank. Knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Keeping those elbows really nice and tight. Take an inhale, up dog or cobra. Take an exhale, downward dog. So we add on for the last time. Take an inhale, step the left foot forward, low lunge. Float the hands up. As you exhale, hands to heart, taking that twist. Coming back to center, frame the left foot, lift the right knee, rising up, high lunge. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart, taking that twist. Inhale. Exhale, back to center, finding warrior two. So really bending into this left knee, grounding into the outer edge of the right foot. So dropping down onto the right heel, hands to shoulder height. Take an inhale. Exhale, finding your side angle. So reaching up and over with the top hand. Again, really pressing down into the right foot. Take a breath, inhale. Exhale, one more breath, inhale. Exhale, frame the left foot, step back, high plank. Either knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take an inhale, float the left leg up. As you exhale, bending at the knee, starting to stack left hip on top of right. So really grounding down into the hands. Take one more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Coming back into downward dog. Coming down onto the knees, finding child's pose. So coming back to the breath. Notice if any tensions come back into the jaw and softening. Releasing. And letting it go. Making your way into a seated position. So bringing the legs straight out ahead, flexing the toes up, coming into your Dandasana. So taking the hands down by the sides, flexing the toes, so really activating the legs. Take an inhale, squeezing the quads, engaging the core, lifting the heels. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. Come back to the breath. And release. Bringing the left foot into the inside of the right leg, coming into a forward fold. So we're going to shift the hips very slightly over the right leg. Take an inhale, float the hands up. As you exhale, reach forward. Keeping the gaze towards the toes, so really lengthening still into the shoulders, into the chest. So it's not just collapsing, but still keeping nice and active. So feeling that stretch in the hamstring, also feeling a nice stretch in the lower back. Take an inhale. Exhale, windmill the hand. So take the left hand behind the left hip, reaching up, opening out the front of the right hip. Let the right hand fall overhead. And release, switching sides. So left foot comes out this time, bringing the right foot to the inside of the left leg. Take an inhale, hands up. Take an exhale, fold. exhale, release. Right hand comes back, lifting the hips. And release. So coming down into a seated position, finding our bound angle this time. So bringing the soles of the feet together, shifting the heels and the body nice and close together, clasping the hands around the feet and just gently hovering the knees up and down, so opening out into the hips. And then maybe taking the elbows to the inside of the calves and just gently guiding the hips open a little bit more. Relaxing the face, relaxing the neck here. Coming back to the breath. And then just bringing the legs out into a straddle. Taking a nice deep forward fold. So trying to keep the toes pointing upwards, the knees pointing upwards. So as you take the fold, being careful that the legs don't come in. So we're not folding with ego. We're just trying to listen to the body and what it needs. So really think about hinging from the hips here. Take an inhale, float the hands up. As you exhale, just bringing the hands forward. When you're finding that stretch and it comes too much, then just release the hands. As you stay here, you might find that you want to explore a bit more and maybe bring the hands forwards. Maybe come down into the forearms. If that's not available, then that's absolutely fine. Just staying where you need to come. If you want to explore and take the chest all the way down to the floor, then that is completely your decision, your prerogative. As long as you can feel a stretch here, then that is all you need to do. It doesn't matter how it looks. Just really concentrate on how it feels. So just take one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, release. Gently walking back in and then making your way down onto your back. Bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Rocking from side to side. Really pressing the lower back down into the mat. So you can stay here if this feels good, or maybe finding your happy baby. Just finding that last release for the hips. So taking the hands to the outside of the feet, or taking a bind of the big toes with the first two fingers and the thumb. And just gently moving if that feels good from side to side. Pressing that lower back down. Come back to the breath. Staying here for as long as you want, for as long as you need, for as long as feels good. And then when you're ready, coming up into a comfortable seated position, taking one hand to the chest, one hand to the belly, and just closing the practice with 5 breaths just before you carry on with your day. So take an inhale, 1. Inhale, 2. Inhale, 3. Inhale, 4. Inhale, 5. And just come back to your breath. Staying here as long as you need, as long as you want, or as long as you have. When you're ready, bringing the hands into heart center, just bowing the head down to the hands. Just taking a moment just to thank yourself for practicing today with no ego, no judgment, and to thank yourself for showing up. Thank you for letting me guide you through that practice. Namaste. I hope that feels a little bit lighter now, a little bit freer on the hips. As always, thank you so much for joining me. If you have any comments or feedback, then please feel free to leave it below. And I hope to see you again on the mat soon. Namaste.